The Target 12 investigators uncovering a curriculum controversy.
Big changes in what used to be known as VOTEC are allowing students to switch districts.
Now, supporters say this newly created competition is good for education, but critics claim some schools are using it to recruit top athletes. Some students are transferring for the wrong reasons.
This is something that families are exploiting. I think that this is backdoor school choice.
Target 12 investigator Walt Buteau joins us now with his exclusive findings.
When a student chooses to transfer, the money from their home district follows them to their new district. Great for one community, but potentially costly for the other. In September, a Ponaganset High School football star scored 4 touchdowns to help the Chieftains rout his hometown team, Scituate. And that community's taxpayers covered the cost for him to join Ponaganset's career technical education program. CTE is the modern version of VOTEC, with regulations going on the books in 2011 to give some a better shot at well-paying jobs right out of high school. Other programs such as engineering and biotechnology offer college credit. 25% of the state students are enrolled in CTE courses right now, and hundreds of them are changing districts to do that for various reasons. One of them is sports, according to critics. While a third of Ponaganset's football team is from outside Foster and Gloucester, District Superintendent Michael Barnes calls the sports claim misleading.
So I disagree with the premise that they're choosing schools based on athletics. As a matter of fact, we have specifically directed our coaches that they are not to recruit.
But Cheraho's Superintendent Barry Ritchie, who passed away last month, told us the CTE regulations are being abused at a cost to taxpayers.
So we have schools that are recruiting for athletics and using CTE to do that. We have parents who are taking advantage of the regulations to get what they want for their kids. But that's not the intent of the regulation, to allow kids to go play volleyball for their AAU coach.
Second, the definition of what constitutes career.
Controversy gained some traction at this November General Assembly Committee hearing. Warwick Superintendent Philip Thornton is pushing for legislation to limit out-of-district transfers, and he wants state reimbursements when a student does choose to leave.
The Pathway Initiative is being used by some to simply attend a high school in a different zip code for a certain sports team. That's a fact.
Thornton tells us he's especially frustrated when someone leaves for a program offered in their home district. He says if nothing changes, CTE transfers will cost Warwick about $2 million this school year and more than $3 million next school year.
Welcome to Ponaganset High School.
At Ponaganset, this promotional video is one of the tools used to attract students to their CTE program. Foster Gloucester's Ponaganset and North Kingstown High are attracting the most out-of-district students. And in Barnes' opinion, the competition created by CTE is good for education and the students.
While it's school choice, it's also about saying to a child, what's your personal passion? What's your personal interest in creating a venue for that to occur? Our state, to drive our economy, needs every single high school providing kids with strong academic foundations, strong career foundation, and strong transferable professional skills.
A Rhode Island Department of Education spokesperson tells us there are no plans to change the regulations to limit school choice for CTE, but a bill that would do exactly that is expected to be debated again during the current legislative session. With the Target 12 investigators, Walt Buteau, Eyewitness News.
New details in a Target 12 investigators exclusive curriculum controversy.
There's a debate over whether districts and families are taking advantage of Rhode Island's career and technical education program.
And as we first reported at 5, students are allowed to transfer to other CTE programs across the state. But critics claim that's costing taxpayers a lot of money, with students making choices not always based on education.
New at 6, we've learned the two sides are expected to square off both on Smith Hill and in court.
Target 12 investigator Walt Buteau joins us now with the exclusive details.
A lawsuit touching on who should pay for a transfer student has been appealed to the state Supreme Court, and lawmakers are also expected to debate this curriculum controversy. Recruiting an out-of-district student to a career and technical program for their athletic ability is not allowed, but a number of critics, including superintendents, insist districts are still doing that. It was one of the points made during this interview with Barry Ritchie, who died a few months after talking with Target 12. Ritchie argued when the money follows the student, the home taxpayer loses.
It all gets down to finances. At the end of the day, it's all about money.
Cheraho filed this lawsuit in 2017 claiming the district should not be required to pay for a student who transferred for CTE. That complaint was dismissed, but is now on the state Supreme Court docket. One claim made in the lawsuit, teacher certification requirements were not being followed by at least one CTE program that, according to Cheraho, did not meet the state definition of career and technical education. Cheraho's CTE director tells us he believes there are multiple programs stretching the definition of CTE.
There are standards that the state provides to the career and technical schools that they have to meet in order to be a career and technical program, and I'm not sure that all of these new programs in the state are meeting those guidance.
A bill proposed last year that would change how CTE is regulated is expected to get another look this year on Smith Hill. The topic came up during a November hearing with West Warwick State Senator and educator Adam Satchel saying this.
This is something that families are exploiting. I think that this is backdoor school choice.
North Kingstown is among the districts attracting far more students than it's losing. Superintendent Philip Auger believes competition is good for school districts and students.
They're shopping around a little bit and trying to get something that is more meaningful to them, and those are all good things.
The Rhode Island Department of Education does not support changing the program, with a spokesperson telling us RIDE firmly believes open enrollment should continue. With the Target 12 investigators, Walt Buteau, Eyewitness News.